Well, first of all, I'm glad I'm not on the road recruiting today. Happy to see y'all. That means that we're in the championship game and excited to have that opportunity to go compete for this league. But also really proud of our team and our staff for a great season, 11-1. Following up a 12-0 season last year. Just can't tell you how hard that is to do, and how proud I am of our team and staff to just continually get themselves ready to play at a high level. Is just awesome to be a part of it. And so really proud of all those guys, and the credit goes to the players. We've got a bunch of good ones. Yesterday, I think we had 18 guys that were honored on the All-ACC, whether it was first team, second team, third team, honorable mention, whatever. And really happy for those guys, especially guys like Jadar Johnson, who's a guy that's just gotten better and better, and now he comes back and he makes first team, all conference. 3 all-conference offensive linemen for the first time in the history of the school. It's just awesome to see those guys be honored that way. And then Coach V, named as a Broyles finalist again. He's kind of on that list every single year, and definitely deserving to win it without a doubt, and the job that he's done with our defense. So just proud of all those guys, and again, just it's a privilege to compete for the ACC championship. We take a lot of pride in that. It's what we set out to do. Because from day one when we got this job, if we can compete in our league, if we can consistently be in the hunt for our league, we're not going to win it every year, but if we can consistently be in the hunt and compete at the highest level in this conference, then we're going to have a chance to be a nationally relevant football team. And that's what's happened over the 8 years here. So it's our 4th opportunity to go play for the title. And, we know that we've got an outstanding challenge in Virginia Tech in front of us. Watching these guys, very impressive football team. It's going to be weird not having Coach Beamer there. We haven't played him, since Coach Beamer retired. But very, very physical football team. Prideful football team that plays with great effort. They play to the last echo of the whistle every snap, and I have a great respect for that. When you turn on the tape and you watch, teams compete the way these guys compete. So really impressed with what I've seen offensively. It all goes through number 4, their quarterback. I mean, he is a very good football player. Big, strong. Physical guy. They're a spread power team with great tempo. They want to play really, really fast. So that means that the quarterback's got to be a great decision maker for them. And they're going to all the zone read stuff, and then the play action, the run pass options that come off of that. He does an excellent job. So they've got a great system. They understand what they're doing, and they've got excellent skill around this quarterback. They're good at running back. They got a good tight end. They got some outstanding guys outside. They got a 6'7" dude out there that everybody has thrown the ball up to, and or they've thrown it up to him, and he's made plays on everybody. Good football player. Number 1's a heck of a receiver. Well, number 5 is their jet sweep guy, but it's a good football team. Offensive line, same thing, tough, physical, built to run the ball. They're going to run the powers, the counters, the quarterback powers, the jet sweep powers. They're going to run all of that stuff with the play actions off of it. A lot of specials that they have set up. They run a bunch of. I don't necessarily think they're trick plays, but they're specials designed off of what they do, which is good coaching. But very impressed with them. And then defensively, Bud Foster's been there forever, 20 plus years or so, 22 years as the coordinator, and he's forgot more football than I'll probably ever know. He is a great football coach and does an unbelievable job. I got a ton of respect for for the job he does, because again, to stay somewhere that long and to have that type of success and to see how his team plays. I mean, those guys just take on his personality. They play with tremendous effort, toughness. They're a disciplined group. They truly understand the nuances of his defense. Present a lot of different things from a coverage standpoint. They'll show you a lot of different looks, and then they'll bring their pressure. He's not afraid to get up there and challenge you and play cover zero. They do a great job up front. Number 4 is an outstanding defensive end. He's got about 6 or 7 sacks. A lot of movement. Very seldom do they just line up and play. It's always somebody slanting, twisting, looping. There's movement almost every snap. And they understand what they're doing and where they're supposed to be. The backers are very impressive. They're big inside. Their middle backer is he plays about every snap. I think he plays, I can't pronounce his last name, I'd say it, but he plays about every snap. I don't think he ever comes off the field. And he is a heck of a football player. 49, their outside backer is also a great player. 6, their nickel. Got all their guys back in the secondary, which is really, I think, paid big dividends for them this year, because all those guys really understand what they're doing. And they've done a nice job in creating some turnovers and creating problems for some of these teams that they played. But, again, two division champs. This is the way a championship game ought to be. 2 really good football teams that are going to line up and play for the overall championship Saturday night, and we're glad to have that opportunity.
Coach, so many years under Coach Beamer, you kind of knew what Virginia Tech was. They just had some hallmarks. What are they under Coach Fuente? Have they changed? What have you noticed about what is Virginia Tech football now?
Well, the biggest change is offensively. That they're different there, and I think that they were kind of trending toward what they're doing now. But I think Justin's come in and has really solidified them offensively, big time. And I think they've always been that defensively, but now they've really kind of. And they're not trying to be all things to all people. They know exactly who they are and what they've got to do to give themselves a chance to be successful, and that's what they do. And that's what good teams do. That's what good coaches do. And they've done an excellent job. This is year 1 in kind of instilling the fundamentals of their system into these guys and getting these guys to buy in, and then they've grown it as the year has gone. You go back and you watch them from the Tennessee game all the way to Virginia. It is, from my eyes, and knowing what I'm looking at, it is a real growth with their system and the understanding of what they're doing and the confidence of what they're doing at every position. So that's the biggest thing. I just think that they are a true identity over there offensively that they're going to build around for years to come.
Coach, how much does it help having the 3 common opponents in your film study and trying to identify tendencies?
Say that one more time.
With the 3 common opponents you've had with Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean it's you study everybody. I think that people can look too much into that stuff. We lost to Pitt. They beat Pitt. They lost to Syracuse. We beat Syracuse. That just goes to show you none of that stuff means anything. But I think from a personnel standpoint, they lost to Georgia Tech. We beat Georgia Tech. You can get a feel for it, but it's really the totality of a season. Anything can happen on any day. Sometimes teams have better days than others. Sometimes you have matchup issues. Sometimes you have an injury. Sometimes you have turnovers. Sometimes you have a monsoon. There's a lot of factors that go into game day. But as you study them all season long, we're trying to, who are they? Who are their personnel? How have they responded week in and week out? And this has been an incredibly consistent football team. Again, year 1 of a new coach, new voices, new philosophies, new things, and how have they responded? They responded very well. It's a good football team that has gotten better all year.
Sorry, Bill was saying that he feels like the defense is more fresh than it was at this point last year. How do you view that, and what have you done to kind of make sure those guys stay healthy throughout the year?
Well, I really haven't done anything. I just think it's just a product of who our team is this year and our schedule. There's no question. I mean, y'all have heard me say many times, we won last year in November, but I mean, and there's a lot to be said for finding a way to win. And our guys gutted it out, but we were a exhausted football team last year at this time. We didn't finish well in this game. We didn't finish well in the South Carolina game. We were kind of, hanging on to get to the finish line. We played 10 straight. And not only did we play 10 straight, we had no competitive depth on defense. You go back to the beginning of the year, the one thing I told all you media guys was the biggest change in our team is going to be the competitive depth of our team. It's going to pay off for us. It's going to make us better. We have more functional guys than we had last year. You look at Shaq and Dodd and the enormous amount of snaps that they played. We got more guys that can go play. We don't hold our breath. B.J. Goodson is down. We don't hold our breath this year. We've played more guys throughout the season. We've developed more confidence, and then our schedule. We had an open date, and we don't control that. We had an open date that allowed us to it came at a good time to where we could kind of recharge. We've been pretty fortunate with some injuries and things like that, but just more guys, more competition at practice, and more guys that are available and ready to go win for us. And I think that's helped us big time. So, there's no question we're a fresher team than we were this time last year. Not even close on both sides.
Yeah, but you talked about right at the start how difficult it is to follow up the season you had last year with what you guys have done this year. That locker room in Arizona was pretty down, pretty disappointed. Did you have a plan coming back that says, okay, we're not going to get back here tomorrow, so we need to take these steps to get everybody's mind right and get back on this track?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's no different than any other year. For us, we start over every year, regardless. I mean, if we have a disappointing season, or if you get beat in the national championship game 14-1, I mean, we're going to start over, and we're going to self-evaluate. We're gonna from a staff standpoint, we're gonna evaluate from a personnel standpoint. The guys on our football team, we're gonna evaluate from a schematic standpoint. What was good, what was bad, what are areas that we need to really try to improve, and that's what we do every year. And then for me, the mentality. What's the psychological aspect of the team coming back, and how do we approach that? And that's always different, depending on the type of team you have and who are the leaders coming back. What's going to be the voices in the locker room? What are they made of? And so then you kind of formulate your plan for the new journey. So you truly start over every year. Every season is a season of its own, a new journey, new team, new voices, new chemistry, new morale, new motivating factors. There's lots of different things, different challenges. Obviously next year it's going to be, okay, who's the quarterback? And how's the new quarterback? Is it going to, Kelly's going to be the guy for sure going into the spring, no question. How's he going to do? Well, we're going to all find out. So different storylines every single year on teams. For this football team coming back, it was just a very tangible presence of leadership day one. And so for me, I've tapped into that all year long. These guys have just been so easy. We've had just no issues. accountability, guys just practicing the right way, buying into what we got to do in the spring, understand that you have to pay the price all over again. You don't just get back somewhere. It doesn't work that way. You have to go and prove it, and buying into the mentality that we have that, hey, every game's the biggest game of the year, and then whatever result we get, whether it's a great result or a poor result, it's all about what's next. Always all about what's next, and how do we attack it and how do we get better. And our guys, that's the culture that we have, but really didn't do anything special. We just started over, just like we do every year.
How much of an advantage is it that this team in particular has? They've sort of been to these places. I mean, the ACC championship game isn't a new experience for them, and then whatever comes after that is, these aren't completely new experiences for your team.
Yeah, I think experience is a great teacher. There's no question. I mean, I'm a better coach at 47 than I was at 38. That's for sure. Got some experience. Thank goodness. Exactly. It's just you were probably a better player as a senior than you were as a freshman. It's called experience. That's experience is a great teacher, and I think when you have a lot of guys that can draw on experience, it translates into the locker room, transfers in the locker room. From just players getting each other ready and the leadership, and that's what this team's had all year. Everybody thinks we're this veteran football team. We're a really young team. You got 120 guys on the roster. Most of them are freshmen and sophomores, but those seniors and juniors are incredibly impactful people, and they have an experience that they've been able to draw on and teach, and then validation of what you do as a program. They know. I mean, I don't have to, I don't have to explain, hey, this is why we're doing this on Tuesday. They know. Okay, here's our schedule. This is what we're doing. Okay, all right, let's go. They trust and they believe in what we do because of past experience. So I think your experience reinforces the core values of your program, and the leadership of your team can draw on that. This team had an experience to draw on that no other team has had. They've been number one. They've been in a playoff. They've done all that. They've been to a national championship experience, so they know that they're good enough, and they know what it takes, and they know how to transfer that in the locker room. And then it's my job as new people come in here to constantly reinstall the core values of our program and to make sure they understand why. It hadn't always been this way, guys. And here's why we've had success, and this is why we do these things this way, and don't take it for granted. And so it's just always a teaching process in place, but experience there's nothing like experience. Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback this year than he was as a freshman, way better. He's a better quarterback this year than he was last year, and experience has taught him.
What have been the biggest challenges of this season, and how do you think this team's overcome them?
The biggest challenges of this season were a bunch of drop balls first couple ball games and about 4 drop touchdowns in the first couple games. That was a challenge, because we had to win despite that. That was a problem. And then the other challenge of this season was an enormous amount of turnovers in a couple games that we had to overcome. It was a challenge, but we did, all except one. We had 630 yards against Pitt. We needed 631. The turnovers have been the biggest challenge. And in early part of the season, the drops. Other than that, we've played really good football. Been very consistent on defense all year. We've played well on offense all year. A lot of the turnovers came in the red zone, as y'all know. But we've actually been better in the red zone. 68% we've scored in the red zone. Touchdowns, more touchdowns in the red zone this year. But the turnovers have been the biggest challenge. There's no question. But we've kind of started to trend in the right direction, which is where we need to be. You know, when we've had one or less, y'all know it's like enormous how we've outscored the opponent. And when we've had two or more, we've allowed people to stay in there. And that's, when you play good teams, that's what happens. But the fact that we've been able to get to 11-1 and overcome it, and one loss on the last play of the game by 1 point, in a game where we had critical turnovers and didn't play our best game defensively, you know, you can get beat. They're a good team.
The change in